Hey, it's Ewan here from thetraders.com. I'm just going to do another update video just to talk through some of the interesting moves at the moment. So I'm going to start off with looking at some of the pound pairs, and then I'll move over to some of the cryptocurrencies and precious metals. So I've mentioned a few times I'm pretty net long on the pound at the moment, so I've got positions against the yen, position against the Australian dollar and the US dollar, and then another one against the euro. So they're pretty much all the same pattern, so I'll just highlight this on GBPJPY. So I actually I originally bought on this breakout here. You can see we've got a small pennant and breakout about a week and a half ago, just the end of November. And they actually pulled back and tested the top of the support line, so I closed out a loss on this one, and actually re-entered again, and can't really see it very clearly here, but I re-entered again on this breakout day here. Now what we're seeing is, on Friday it spiked up pretty quickly, with clearly a lot of people who had orders in this region, and then it pulled down and closed down for the day, and we can see now we're actually testing this close, which is towards the kind of 12-13 month highs, and I really want to see it break up towards the top of this channel here, so the 155 mark. And if I just zoom out again, what we're going to see is that we've kind of been in this kind of long, kind of wide consolidation period for quite a while now. Actually, since Brexit Day, we had one breakdown here that didn't really follow through very much, and since then we've kind of struggled to break out the top of this channel. So the 155 to 157 region is probably going to look at some pretty significant upside resistance here. But again, these are pretty vulnerable to a pullback. There's a lot of news around Brexit, and if people view this kind of negatively, they could see a bit of a sell-off in the pound, and we might see these pulling back in. So keep an eye on these pairs. It's the same pattern on GBPUSD. We've got a 13-month high. It's actually closed at the 13-month high on GBPUSD, whereas here we've kind of still got this period in in September, where it actually was above the kind of 152 region for a few days. And in Euro GBP, we're at 6-month lows, but again, we've got a similar pattern. Let me just see if I can quickly load it up. The internet's not great here, so I'm trying to kind of get these loaded ready up. Yeah, so we've got the same pattern here again, but kind of 6-month lows here around the 0.87 level. And we saw it actually smash down again on Friday, and it actually pulled back up. So we're testing this region here. I ideally want to see this level kind of hold on the upside, which it looks like it's doing at the moment. We're coming back down a little bit. But the next kind of downside is this going to be this 0.87 level, and we're going to have to watch out for that this week. So keep an eye on these pairs. I've got 4 GBP long positions at the moment, so I'm kind of really hoping these are going to pull back down. I'm up 12% for the month already, I think, maybe a little bit more, 13% for December, and I finished 19% up for November. So if this GBP move can follow through, this could be another 20-30% across all the positions. So this would be a really great end to the year. I mean, that will be, I think if these kind of fall through to a 2 or 3 to 1, I'm probably going to make about 10k on these. If not, I'll probably lose 2,000 or 3,000, probably less, about 2,000, because I've already got some locked in profit on these on GBPUSD. So keep an eye on these, and we'll see how this goes at the end of the week. I'll put a post about this just to let everyone know how these positions have gone. And then some other interesting positions recently. Keep going about this silver and platinum positions. So silver was a really, really nice trade. We're in a long trend in consolidation period that's been kind of going for over a year now. We really can't break out above this 18 level, and this 16, kind of 15.5 to 16 level has been holding every time. So we had a test in December last year, and again in early July, and we've broken down again. So I actually sold a couple of weeks ago around the $16.5 level, just where this, you can see there's a small consolidation period in the middle of this range. I sold just on the breakout of here, and it looks like it's going to hold for now. This 15.5 levels holding some support, which I thought it did, thought it would. So I really want to see if this holds the next few days. If not, I'm probably going to close out if it kind of goes back above the 16 region. But again, we could see a breakout below 15. I mean, this market's been way lower before. If we look back on the bit longer time scale, we can see that there's a huge gap below here where we haven't seen the market trade for a very long time. Let's just see if this loads quickly. Yeah, sorry, so I just flicked to the weekly chart, so now we're looking at the weekly silver. So you can see that we've actually been a lot lower than this. The period we're in is actually pretty quiet. So it's been consolidating for kind of 2-3 years now. I mean, if we look back at 2014, we're at the same level we were back then. But before that, we had this huge run up from the $9 level up to 48, and then since then we've been coming back down. This 2011 But the next downside here is the 12 to 13 region, where we were in end of 2015, and then from there we're all the way back to 2009. So if we can break this 15.5 level, this is the next downside, which would be a really, really big move, and this is kind of what we're looking for here. If not now, then we might see another test in a few weeks or maybe early January. So just keep an eye on these moves, because if they do break down, they will break down very quickly. And another one, this is the exact same pattern again, but I actually got in this one a little bit earlier. This is platinum, so you can see we've been in this consolidation region pretty much the same period again from December till now. This time I actually sold up at the 960 level, so rather than waiting for it to break down, you can see the trend's pretty bearish in this period here. We tried to have a breakout above the 950 level, which failed, and this was my signal to sell. We saw it break out and then back in, so I actually had an order to sell around the 950, 960 region, and we've pretty much pulled back, pretty much free fall all the way down to the 890 level. But again here, what we're looking for is to see if this 890 level holds. This is actually the lowest it's been for over 2 years now, and we're actually below this. So if this level holds, we can see a lot more downside here, and I really want to see a target of kind of the 850 level in the next few weeks, because that'll be a huge risk reward move for me. And hopefully some of you got the signals on these. I've been sending the signals out every day, and I know for a fact that a few people have made over $1,000 on this from the email signal. So if you're not on that list, make sure you send me a message, and I'll add you to it as soon as possible. And then the last few positions I want to talk about, it's not really possible to do a video at the moment without talking about cryptos in some way or another. So the moves I'm in at the moment are Litecoin and Monero. I think that's it. I'm out of Bitcoin. I'm out of Ethereum recently. So my Litecoin position was from Saturday. So I kind of bought this 120 region. I tried to send this out, but it kind of moved too quickly for me to actually send a signal out. It pretty much went from 120 to 160 overnight, and everyone was asleep, so there's no point in me sending a signal at 2 a.m. in the UK. But this move's been crazy. It's gone up pretty much 100% or 80% in the last 3 or 4 days, and I don't really know what the potential kind of support levels or resistance levels are going to be up here, because we've got nothing to refer to. This is the all-time highs right now. Literally, as we're watching this, 15749 is pretty much the all-time high, and I got in at 120. So I'm kind of hoping we'll push up at least the 170, 180 region. But again, this could pull back pretty quickly, so make sure you do use a stop loss if you're going to trade this. I think my stop's around the 105 region, but maybe a bit higher, 108. But I'm already a kind of 100% risk reward on this. I think I'm up about $700 or $800 in the last couple of days. So again, another great move. These cryptos are again all over the place at the moment. Bitcoin's to talk about now is just approaching all-time highs again. We saw it at the $17,000 at the end of last week, and it crashed to 12,500, I think. And to me, it's a difficult one, this one, because the upside is so high. I mean, we could see this at 20 or 25,000 in the next few weeks, so God knows where this is going to go. But entering at this level just isn't look very favorable for me, because I mean, we crashed from 17,000 to 12,500, which is a $4,500 drop. So if you're going to have a stop loss $4,500 wide, then your risk reward isn't that great unless we do see it kind of crash up to 25, 30,000 pretty quickly. So I'm going to wait for a bit more of a consolidation period here. So if we look back historically, once it does kind of crash like this, it tends to consolidate for a little bit, and we get a bit less volatility, which means we can get a better entry price, and also we can get a nice tight stop loss in there. So I don't really fancy entering with a $5,000 stop loss, because to kind of make a one-to-one risk reward, we need to see at least 21,000, and that's just not as good as some of the other cryptos are offering at the moment. So Bitcoin's an interesting one. The trading of the futures has started as well this week, so I'm interested to see what that's going to do, because we might see a lot of hedge funds and asset management firms actually going short on the futures on these. So when we do see a crash like this, it might actually be enough to push it a little bit lower, which might cause a bit more of a sell-off. So these crashes might start getting bigger as a result of these exchanges which are now doing Bitcoin futures, which is why I'm a little bit more cautious about entering a Bitcoin long at the moment, especially when we've gone pretty much from 6,000 to 17,000 with no real correction. I mean, we corrected for 2 days, but I don't think that's enough for people to reposition themselves properly. I think we just had a lot of people just buying the dip very quickly here, and there wasn't really much of a reconfiguration in net long and net short positions. So I think we're probably overdue a bit of a correction here, or a bit of a more serious correction and consolidation. But we'll have to see where it goes. I mean, Bitcoin's kind of one that defies all logic. I mean, it's anyone's guess where this is going to go, but I'm probably going to try and play other altcoins instead of Bitcoin, just because the risk reward's a lot better. So that's it for this week. Make sure you keep an eye on these moves, and if you're not already on the mailing list, let me know, because I've been sending out signals like this Litecoin one, although I said it a little bit late, this platinum sell and also this silver sell. So I'm up about $5,000 this December. I know a few people who are on the list have also been making a few thousand, so really good job, guys. And if you've got any questions, make sure you message me. Thanks for listening.